Hello everybody, welcome to Project Auto. I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. It's going to be part of the follow-up video to this showing the final result. So what I have for you guys here today is on my CLS550 I'll be swapping the grille out. As you can see here, this is the before where we've got the diamond front grille, and I'm also doing a little bit extra here because I will be taking the entire front bumper off. I'm also going to be rewrapping the lower front lip. Right now you can't really see it, but it's in kind of like a matte carbon fiber, and we're going to switch it over to a gloss. And I'm happy to say I found the correct looking carbon fiber. With the wraps, they're not all the same. Some look really fake. The matte ones obviously are fake. What's nice about them is you can see their texture a little bit more, but I like the gloss ones, and there's like 2D, 3D, whatever. I think I found like the 7D one, and it looks very real, very close to actual carbon fiber. And so I'm going to have a link in the description if you guys are interested in picking up the same kind of thing, whether you're going to be wrapping, interior trim, same front bumper lip kind of deal, or anything else. And I'll be doing more parts with that same wrap in a couple episodes coming up, so stay tuned to see what other things you can do to your vehicle with that kind of wrap. Anyways, the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to have to remove the front bumper. As much as you don't want to do it, that's part of this process, and it's a lot easier than it looks, but it's kind of important to follow a specific process. So in this case, what I've done here is, because I have airmatic suspension, is I've actually lifted the vehicle up. Maybe you've noticed the suspension kind of going a little bit higher here and there until I sit down. No, but that's just making some room because we're going to actually be working on the fenders first. Now, it's kind of hard to visualize this, but once we're going to be taking off the fender liner, there are going to be two little bolts at this point here that I'm going to point out in the video. And unfortunately I don't have clips of myself removing these. I don't know how I missed it, but that's where you're going to be looking after you remove the liner. So here we are in the fender liner, and usually what I do is I take a flathead, kind of get that middle top off, and then I use this special tool that really makes it easy to pop these out. And if you don't have one of these and you work on your car often, I'm just going to say get one, because this thing is a lifesaver. I don't know, it was only maybe 8, 9, 10 bucks, I think, or actually might have even came with a set. I'll link it in the description. I'll go find which one I bought, because, messing around with the screwdriver, sometimes these are kind of picky and you can hurt yourself. So this makes the job really easily done, and also you can kind of use it to leverage other points, as you'll see me here kind of peeling the liner. But what we're going to want to do is we're going to just remove the fender liner and access those screws and remove them as well. Then we're going to move to the front air dam underneath the vehicle, and there's going to be a couple screws here, as you can see myself pointing out. I want to say they're 8mm. I could be wrong, they could be 10, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. And you can just use a ratchet to get those off, or if you've got an electric tool to get them out, that would make the job even quicker. And you might also have to loosen up the second panel so you can get this front panel off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to move to the top by the front bumper, and there are these little clips that you've got to push in through the top. And I'm going to try and point them out here, but you just got to look at it. Now, if you have a W205, a C300, job is even easier. The CLS, it's got them a little more neat, a little more clean. The W205, I think, has just got a couple screws. Once you get those off, then there are these little kind of areas that you're going to have to unlatch. And of course, they are on either side. And of course, a couple things that we will be unplugging. So these will be the side markers that are orange, one on each side, only for US spec cars, of course. There is another plug probably for a sensor, and this might be dependent on what kind of various packages you have. You may have more plugs to plug out, unplug, or not. Maybe you've got adaptive cruise, Distronic, this and that. So some people might have an easier job, especially if you've got something, different models perhaps. So once we've got the bumper off here, you can see that pretty much it's a matter of taking the foam off, and I'm bringing it inside here. So getting the grill is probably the hardest part to get it to come off, because I almost gave up on this part just because of the difficulty. Yeah, there's no sugarcoating it. But first, since we are down here, we're going to take off the lower trims, and you also want to be careful with these because these are a pain in the butt too. Once again, any other model, a little bit easier, at least from the videos I saw, because I was going off of videos of W205 C-classes. If you've got a W213 facelift E-class, it might be more similar to the CLS, it might be more similar to the W205, but either way, you're going to be pretty much pulling these via the clips on the back. There's not too much you can do from the back, so you kind of got to leverage it from the front. And this is great if you don't want to take off your front bumper. You can kind of finagle it from the front without having to remove the bumper. And so that might be the way you want to go. And if you have a C-Class and you don't want to change the grille, don't bother taking off the front bumper. You can take it off from the front yourself without removing it, and that makes the job even easier. In the CLS's case, probably in your best interest to remove the bumper so you can get access, because these do not come off easy at all. Contrary to other models where you take out the middle first and then you take out the sides, here it's better to take off the sides first and then take off the middle, just because of the way that the front lip sits on the inner part. So once again, it's going to take a lot of leverage. You might break some clips. I think I maybe only broke one or two out of everything. So, and they still sit fine. It's just part of the process, I guess. If you can get them off without breaking anything, congratulations, because you've got maybe more talent than I do. But it wasn't fun. This was kind of a stressful part, and I just want to say that if you're not familiar with working on cars, or you're kind of new to it, I wouldn't really recommend this task. I would have them handle it professionally, take it to a shop, let them mess around with it. Anyways, in my case, since I am wrapping these, I'm going to pretty much wash and clean them up, because we're going to wrap them later. We want a clean surface. Now, same kind of deal with the front grille. You kind of want to work against those clips, and it's kind of best to kind of stick maybe a screwdriver in, wedge it, or move it to the side, and then wedge something in between, like a spacing tool or something, as I have here. That'll come in the set that I have linked below with that other tool. And you kind of maybe get 2-3 of those, pop them into those spots, and you'll be able to kind of pull the grill off one by one through the side. It's kind of a difficult process. At first I thought it was darn near impossible, but eventually it did happen. So then it comes down to the rest of the clips, and if you kind of just take a little look at the way we are shifting the clips here, it might help you to better notice how it's occurring. Once again, it is a difficult process, and I think it's going to take you guys a little bit of practice here and there. Some people might be lucky. Other models might have it a little bit easier. Not sure. Once you get one of them, the rest are going to be a lot easier. But getting that first clip off is going to be probably the hardest part. One thing to note, at least with the CLS, is that the outer grill trim still sits in the grill. So when you purchase a new grill, it doesn't come with the outer chrome trim. That actually you would keep, and it is not changed when you're changing your grill. Now, if you wanted to, you could probably figure out to take that off and wrap it as well. But I wasn't really interested in doing that. I don't want to get rid of chrome completely. I don't do full chrome deletes. I like to keep a little bit just because there are, a little chrome in the headlights and stuff like that. So I always like to keep it balanced, but that is something you can do as well. So you can see here I've got the grill off, and you can notice that the chrome trim is not around it. It is sitting on the front bumper here. So this is how, at least for the CLS, the grill will be removed. So don't give up, don't get discouraged, just keep kind of wiggling, and be prepared to maybe have the car down for 1 or 2 days. Sometimes after all these steps, you need to take a break, take a breather, and just work at it again. But anyways, the star you can twist off, pop it into the new grill. Here I've got a Panamericana GT grill. I'll have a link for that in the description as well where I got it. What was nice about this grill is it also came with an attachment if you have the 360 cameras, and you can pop that in. If you don't have it, it doesn't get included, or you don't have to attach it, but you have it there so it works for any model basically. And we're going to pretty much demonstrate here how the star moves around. But once you get that grill put together, then you can pop it back into place through the same clips just from the back. You're going to kind of smoosh the front of the bumper and the back of the grill together. Make sure everything's aligned properly. And of course, one thing I want to add to that is make sure when you put your star back in, that you've lined it up straight, because it's an embarrassment. I see some of you guys going around with crooked stars. It looks horrible. You haven't done anything. It doesn't look good. So then we're going to use the screwdriver to kind of pop the little tabs back into place, just to maintain, full grip as we've had before. So here is the result of wrapping one of the front lip parts. Not perfect, but kind of the process here. The bottom nobody's going to see, so that's where you can kind of push your wrinkles down towards and just use a lot of heat. And I'm certainly no expert at this, and these are mid-process shots, but at the end of the day, it came out really good. You want to cut out room for the tabs, of course, because you're going to pop it back in. But make sure to get any excess material out, and of course clean surface as mentioned before so it can adhere. Yeah, what's nice about carbon fiber is it kind of hides some extra textures if there is any. But once you get that wrapped, you can just pop them back into place a lot easier than taking them out. So you can see here I've got the middle trim piece all wrapped, and I've popped it back in, and you can see it's got beautiful, realistic carbon looking texture. I'll pop this side piece in here for you guys just to see. And it's just a matter of lining the clips up. And once again, there are wrinkles on the bottom, but nobody can actually see the bottom. That's kind of where you leverage the visibility, because it's an oddly shaped piece. It's a little difficult to wrap. Sure, people who are professionals at it, or maybe you're just really good at home, by all means, if you can get it all right, go ahead. But if you have to have wrinkles, force them down to the bottom. Anyways, now we've got pretty much everything reassembled. So now we're going to pop the foam back in for the shock absorber, I guess. And we are going to pretty much put that back together on the front bumper. So here is the final result. So you can see the gloss black or carbon fiber on the bottom. Hard to kind of tell in this video here, but the GT grill looks fantastic. Now, as it sits right here, I think it looks beautiful, but what I think is nice about the GT grill is that if you are planning on doing a lot of mods, it gets even more aggressive the more stuff you add. For a car that's mostly stock, as my situation here, I thought it was a little plainer than the original grill. So If it's stock, maybe you might want to consider if this is something worth doing for you. The diamond might be a better choice just to leave it as is, or consider going the chrome version of the GT grille. But you can see here, it's absolutely a stunner. The facelift CLS, I think, has the perfect shape for this grille. And I mean, it's beautiful, and I've actually got a couple more things coming up for the front end here that I think you guys are going to like a lot. And of course, take a look at the lower lip as well with the carbon fiber texture. So I'm really happy with the outcome. At first, I was kind of like, you know, it's good, but is it wow? And now that I've, you know, done a couple things, which stay tuned, I think you guys are going to like it a lot. It's getting really aggressive, the front end of this car. So it's just a perfect combination, I think, and I'm really glad I did it. Like I said, it's not maybe a pretty easily installed grille. There's a little bit of work. In fact, even if you have pre-facelift, it's even harder. You have to separate the lower grille from the upper grille, and that's a whole mess on its own. But you can see the GT grille kind of has this like vented design, and it's really aggressive. And while I'm not blacking out all the trims, I am going to be blacking out a lot of things. So we're going to go with a mean look here for this car, and I can't wait to show you guys what is in store next. Keep an eye out for the follow-up video here, and thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and please hit the subscribe button if you are interested in seeing more content like this. I'm telling you guys, we are going to be bringing some things for the CLS that people haven't seen before, and what's nice about it is that a lot of the mods I'm doing for this vehicle you can do for the W205 C-Class, you can do for the facelift W212 E-Class, W213, some of them as well. So lots of different models. Please guys, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.